we literally need to, show up, and we don't have time to like work on stuff or like leave peacefully, because from one tournament we're going straight to another, and this is the case for like we don't even have time until the end of the year, because literally the first tournament starts on 29th of December. So
we good? We good to go?
So I expect questions in Polish from you.
No. We have to teach it. Iga, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
2 tough sets. Your thoughts on your performance today?
Well, I'm happy that I'm through to the second round, because first rounds are never easy. But for sure, I want to improve some things and adjust a little bit, so I'll make less mistakes. But I'm happy that I'm in the second round.
Okay. Questions in English, please. Name and affiliation. Courtney.
Courtney Nguyen, WTA. Congrats, Iga.
Thank you.
She played a really good match against Sabalenka a few weeks ago in DC. She's playing well. I'm curious, like, what was she doing well that you had to problem solve a little bit for?
Well, I didn't know her scores, before this tournament. So yeah, but I mean, she's a solid player, and she's not playing too fast, which kind of makes you want to speed up, but you can't do that in this condition sometimes, because it's too risky. So I guess I feel like I made, a lot of mistakes, because sometimes she was kind of provoking it, but yeah, but I was mostly kind of focused on myself, so I can't really say a lot about her game, because also we've never even practiced together, so it's hard for me to kind of know.
Okay. David.
Hi, Iga. David Kane, tennis.com. Similar to that, I remember when we spoke in Cincinnati, you suggested that you really hadn't seen Mira Andreeva play before, and I'm curious how often you're watching players that you may not be as familiar to. If you're watching their game, if you're really relying on coaches and your team to tell you what their game is like.
Well, I'm watching a little bit usually, just to see the game style, but like tactically, when I watch anything, I don't see a lot. So I need, honestly, yeah, my coach is really good at that, so I basically rely on him. He's usually right about most of stuff. Sometimes, the girls are playing differently against me, because they have kind of nothing to lose, but I'm also ready for that. I mean, so yeah, mostly I'm just seeing what's the game style, but he's giving me like tactics, and he's seeing better like in a broadened horizon. So yeah.
Okay. Brian.
Hey, Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. Just wondering, I know you had some comments recently about the tennis schedule, and it seems like just listening to players here, there's a lot of people saying similar things. Does that encourage you maybe that there could be a change, improvement, or maybe it's one of those we know there's a problem, but we don't know how to fix it?
Well, it would be easy to fix it for people that are in charge, but they already made, plenty of decisions, and they promised so many things to tournaments, basically. I mean, WTA, for example, that, it would mean for them to change their mind, but which is tricky because it's business, But I think players are aware that this is crazy what's going on, and the schedule is really tough. And I know that, I spoke about it in Cincinnati, for example, and there are people saying that, I don't have to play so many tournaments. But the fact is that we have so many mandatory tournaments that we literally need to, show up, and we don't have time to work on stuff or leave peacefully, because from one tournament we're going straight to another, and this is the case for we don't even have time until the end of the year, because literally the first tournament starts on 29th of December. So yeah, the season is for sure too long, and I think it needs to be changed, because also I think it's going to be better for fans, and because they're not going to see their favorite players pull out or getting injured so much, I think. And we can present better quality, I would say. We could. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, I saw from last year that we don't have much influence on what's going on, upstairs, and basically these rules have been changed without us even knowing about them. You know, these decisions about mandatory tournaments were shown to us like after, you know. So we spoke to WTA about it, that we want to at least be in the loop, you know. But it would be nice for us to have some impact, because it's not. I don't think our sport is going in the right direction because of that.
Okay. In the back.
Hi, Iga. Catherine Whittaker, the Tennis Podcast. A related question. If you were in charge of tennis, I know this is never going to happen because all the agendas, but just from your perspective, imagine you get to rip up the calendar and start from scratch. How would you design the calendar? Like, what would the ideal schedule look like?
Well, would you say that, for example, the system that WTA had, like, I don't know, 10 years ago was bad because they had like 11 mandatory tournaments or 12. I'm not sure, honestly. Now everybody's going to check and I'll be wrong probably. But would you say it was like less interesting or... Yeah, so basically it's all about, you know, the promises that they give to tournaments, that we have to play this 500 tournaments, which basically is not necessary sometimes, because we can perform well on 1,000 and have a great ranking, but they promise that, so we have to adjust. But basically, it means that we have no time off. So I mean, I wouldn't say. I haven't thought of it like how I would schedule everything, because obviously there's no sense to do that now when everything is changing, you know, the wrong way kind of. But I would say tennis was as interesting, you know, 10 years ago with the other system that we had, and it was fine. So, and players, if they wanted to play 500 tournaments to get their ranking better, they did that, you know, but they weren't forced to. So I have nothing against 500 tournaments, but, you know, sometimes it's hard to squeeze it in.
Is the 2 week, the extension of the 1,000 events to 2 weeks, is that all part of the same thing for you? Yeah.
I mean, my coach is scheduling everything pretty wisely, but it is tough, you know. I played Stuttgart, Madrid, Rome, Roland Garros, and I only had like 2 days in between every tournament. If I want to perform well, I'm not gonna have time to do like anything. Like, it can work for a few years, but what's gonna happen later, you know, if we want to keep playing at the same level. So I guess it's not gonna be about really the quality of tennis, but who's gonna cope better with this system and sometimes plan wiser and not look at the rules sometimes, you know.